Hey, here we've got the Range Rover in the shop. Customer contacted us and mentioned he wasn't too happy with the headlight lenses. They don't look too bad from far away, but we do have a solution for that. Instead of you getting all new headlight assemblies, which are going to cost you a fortune, we can offer you a headlight lens replacement. We offer this replacement services on many makes and models, so just inquire within. What ends up happening is the headlights start to craze. It basically just means the plastic is breaking down. It looks like little fractures, little scratches, little cracks. Starts up top and then it gets worse because this part faces the sky and it starts looking like that. Customer already had these buffed out. This is the best they got them, and you can only restore so much of this once it starts crazing like this. So we're going to take these lights off the vehicle. It's going to go up in the air. The bumper is going to come off, the wheels, the liners, get full access to everything, get these off. And we're not going to show you step by step on how this lens replacement is done, but we'll show you a quick overview of the service in case you're interested in getting that done. It'll save you a lot of money depending on how bad your eyesore is. This one's not too bad. It doesn't have the crazing yet, but it's starting. This car, I believe, has about 68,000 miles on it. But it's immaculate besides the headlights, and to some people that's just killing kind of the front end vibe. So we'll remove the lights and take care of this issue with brand new lenses. Once the lenses are installed back on the vehicle, we recommend having the paint protection film installed. It's called PPF. Many companies make it: 3M, Expel, Suntech. There's tons of other brands these days. Bring it to a detailing shop. They'll charge you $100, $200 for the pair of lights, depending on where you're located and what the market pricing is. And that'll protect the lights from any further degradation for years to come. So we'll show you the process a little bit, show you the final result. Obviously, it'll look brand new once we're done with it, but stay tuned. We'll update you in a moment here. Okay, we've got the assemblies out of the car. Just want to show you how this looks before we get started, so that way we can compare to once this is done. Some people don't care, they close the hood, you can't see it, but we do care, and we make every effort to make sure this looks really good once it's resealed. So obviously factory seal, you can see it's got a little bit of a gap, looks nice and tight. Customer hasn't reported any issues with water getting inside or anything like that, but it's something that we just want to go over. And that way we'll show you once it's done, and you can compare to see how the final product looks, because we're very, very set on making sure this is done properly. Make sure you don't have any leaks, any sealing issues. And in order for that to happen, we need to properly reseal the lens and make sure it's done correctly. So we'll show you once it's all wrapped up, but this is what it looks like for right now. Here we've got the lenses off and the inner housings removed. You want to remove that when you're putting it in the oven to take out the sealant. So you can see the sealant's been scraped out of this channel already and it's ready to go. And this is the original sealant that's in there after the lens has been removed. Did a traditional oven method. It was easier than cutting this lens. It was very thick. Popped it in the oven for 20 minutes at 220 degrees and carefully just pried. And you can get this off. Lens comes off. You don't want to pry it open like this. You want to kind of move it forward, and you can easily pop that off. And you want to scrape out all the sealant after disconnecting the board. So there's a little bit of disconnect. This is a very intricate assembly, a lot of pieces. It's like a big puzzle, but eventually get to the point where you have everything set up, all the sealants out. Next, we'll put in the butyl sealant. We use the Dynamics. You can also use the Morimoto, but we do recommend a headlight grade sealant, not the sealant that comes with these aftermarket lenses, because it's usually low quality. But clear out this channel and I'll fill it up with new sealant, put the inner housing back, and I'll show you how that looks before we move to the next step. Okay, I understand some of you may have been hoping this was more of a how-to. It's not, it's just a service overview. We see a lot of people commenting on the videos. We're not showing every step of the process. We are showing before and after, essentially. So this is the moment that everything gets cleaned up, and it's right before we put the lens on. In this specific type of application, this type of design, the inner housing goes into the channel and then the sealant goes in front of it. So The inner housing does not seat in the lens. The lens just seats in the back housing, which already has the kind of the bezel and all the cosmetics in there. As you saw before, there was naked wires and modules and stuff like that. Yeah, so this is the moment that it gets ready for reassembly, essentially. And I'll give you a few tips and tricks. This little faceplate comes off here, okay? Once you get that, there's a torque screw here, torque screw there, and there's a bunch of them on the bottom there. You take everything out, so this comes off, then this whole black piece kind of comes off, and then you can remove the whole inner housing. What we've done actually too is remove the amber. If you remember, there was an amber reflector on the side there. The customer wanted it removed. We have done that on the Velar model before, and it came out really good. This is the diodynamic sealant that we use. You want to stretch out just enough to get in there and then kind of push it in. You don't want it overflowing, but you want it kind of level with the housing. That way when you seat the new lens in the oven. Speaking of, this requires a huge oven over here. This is not going to fit in your home oven, so don't even attempt it. These are very, very large lights. The only way to get this in is to kind of stand it up strategically. So overall, risky, difficult job. I'll show you how everything looks when it's all settled. It turns out this light was actually in an accident, or some part of the vehicle was an accident. We discovered a tab which we have to fix, and it's a little bit bent on the bottom as well. The other side was better. We actually discovered a crack in the lens when we were taking it off. So it's interesting that water did not get in here. My personal opinion and theory is that this Permaseal is not going to hold up for the long run, and eventually we'll see these models coming in for water entry issues. Once that happens, that's going to be interesting because there's LED modules and wiring that cannot be compromised with corrosion. So we'll see how that all pans out. But in this case, we'll be installing the new lenses. Once you get everything reassembled, use a very good quality microfiber, a little detailing spray. Don't spray the detailing spray on this housing, but spray it on the towel, wipe everything down. This type of shiny black likes to scratch very easily, so you have to use a quality microfiber, but everything looks really good. I'll show you in a moment once everything gets resealed, but we'll get this back on the vehicle and show you how everything looks. All right, here she is. Same light that we were starting with earlier in the video, and I told you we'd be back to show you how everything looks when it's resealed. So we use these little screws, and that will help keep the channel intact because the new sealant is not what you call a Permaseal. It's not a one-time use sealant. It can soften with heat. So we want to make sure that nothing separates. Even though there's a small tab here, we have seen those kind of separate. So we zip in a few extra screws. Check it out with the amber delete. It looks really clean. It's going to look really good on the car because the car is white and black themed. So it'll look really good. But yeah, there it is. And you can tell everything is nice and tight. We're looking for a nice tight seat so that way the fitment and everything looks proper once it's back on the vehicle. Quick look under the hood, because you can see the top of the headlight assembly. In some models, it's covered by a shroud. Other models, you literally see the top of the assembly. So this is what the final product looks like. Just looks 100% original. Again, that's what we're going for. We don't want to open up the hood and see a surprise of sealant oozing out or some sloppy silicone like you might see from other service providers. And again, special car, but we treat them all the same. Whether you've got a winter beater, we'll still do the lights up right, and you'll get the same type of service from us. So check out that amber delete though. It looks amazing on this model, mainly because it's already white and black themed. And it looks perfect. So the amber was just removed, and yeah, it doesn't even look like it was part of the headlight design now. On some models, you have to paint the amber. On a model like this, it happened to work out where you can't even tell it's missing. So super awesome. If you guys have any questions, reach out to us directly. It's info@lightworks.net. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah, if you got a model that you don't see on our website that you need new lenses for, or any kind of lighting improvements, we'll be happy to help you out. But thanks again, and please subscribe.